In this video, I want to go over how to download the image files or the photos off of your SD card and onto your external hard drive. Now, at home, if you were working on your computer, you might be downloading these into your computer onto your computer hard drive. But for this class and future classes, you'll be loading them directly onto your hard drive, which you carry back and forth. And that's where they will live. I would always recommend, of course, that you copy them somewhere else afterwards, back them up onto another computer. We'll talk more about that later. But for now, we're going to put them onto our external drive. Now, I've already got a few things open on the desktop. I just want to walk you around here. This is a Mac, and everything I'm going to show you tonight is based on Mac. But there's a handful of commands that might be a little different for PC, which I'll try to point out. But at school, we have all Macs, and so this is what the screen will look like when you're working at school. Now, what I have here is this is the SD card, which is the volume that has your files in it. It says Nikon D810. That's the camera I shot it. It might show up as like a little card icon or as a volume, but this shows up after you get your card plugged in. I also have my hard drive. This is the one that I use for school demos. It's called Ideal Student, and it's showing up below there. These will show up anywhere on your desktop after you plug them in, and so you might have to look around a little bit to find them, but they're going to pop up. We're going to look inside of those in a second. I just want to show you quickly, I also have Adobe Bridge open, and we're going to get into that in the second part of this video. We'll take a pause and come back. This is primarily an organizational software. It allows us to look at and move around and reorganize our photos in a very pretty easy way. We're going to come back to that after we get started creating folders and working on a file structure. So we're going to just move that over for now. And let's take a look inside of this volume, which is our SD card. Now, all I had to do to get into that volume was just double click or right click if you're on a PC or if you have a mouse that works that way. And notice when it comes in, you may open this up and it may not look exactly like this. So I want to show you these little thumbnail options up here. I'm on the third one, which is what I'm going to go back to. But if you're on the first one, it's going to show your folders just as sort of loose folders in the window. If there were more than one, there'd be another folder icon next to it. This one will show them as a list. If you have a little triangle, it means that there's another folder inside of it that's nested, which we'll get to in a second. This one, the folders are actually in separate columns, and this is the one I'm going to stay in because I think it's the easiest to see the nesting when you're inside of this. So you can see that the first one is here and the one that's nested inside is here, and we're going to continue going. The last one is kind of my least favorite, but you might like it. It has the folder up above, and below it actually has the list image, and as you click on them, the icons will go by. So some people like that. I'm going to stick with this one for tonight, but you're very welcome to play around with the others. Now you notice if I'm on, let's just go back, if I'm on the original, the hard drive, it just shows the first folder. When I click on the first folder, it shows what's inside of that folder. And then when I click on the next folder, it shows what's inside of that folder. And that's where our images are. And this may happen to you on your card. You may have to go into the nesting. So here's our images. They're all JPEG images. They're numbered individually. And if you click on an individual one, it's going to pop up with some information and a thumbnail, which can be very handy. And you might be very tempted to just go through and sort of click on these and decide which ones you want and just download those. Just drop over a few of the ones that you think are the coolest. I really want to discourage you from doing this because you want to be able to manage all of your files at once, clear your card at once. There's various reasons why you don't want to just kind of cherry pick through your images. What we're going to do tonight, what I'll show you how to do, is to drag all of your images over to your hard drive at once and then sort them out in Bridge after that. So let's go to the hard drive, and I'm going to show you how to create a file structure before we copy those files over. So this is the inside of my hard drive, and you see there's a couple of folders already in here. One is demo photos. These are photos that I use when I'm doing demonstrations, and this is actually the file folders from last semester. And you can see that within this, it has the 3 different classes I taught, and within there, it has different folders for different assignments. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. Then within that, it has the actual files that are part of that slide presentation. And as I click back, you see you all the way back to the beginning, you don't see those folders inside. Now to create your own nest, you're going to go back to the files. You may have nothing on here, so you're starting from scratch. So I'm just going to go back to the original one. On a Mac, you just go up to File, click New Folder, and it pops down right there. And it actually says Untitled Folder, and it has blue highlighting over it. And that means that I can retitle it right now. I'm going to call this All My Photos. You can call it whatever you like, but this is what I consider a kind of a master folder. All the photos that I take during the next semester or maybe even the next year, they're all going to go inside of this. And then I'm going to put subfolders inside of them to organize them. This is really just a digital way of creating a file folder system, as you would do in your office if you've ever done that. Not all of you probably have. Now within all my photos, I'm going to have the photos that I take for class, and I'm also going to have photos that I didn't take for class, my selfies, my friend's birthday party, whatever. So I'm going to create 2 different folders in there. So I've clicked on all my photos, and I'm going to create a new folder. I'm going to call it Photo 29. You can call it Photo Class, whatever. And over here, notice how that all my photos, when I went over, it popped up to the top. And that's because these are always sorted by default. They'll sort alphabetically. And so the A went up to the top. I'm going to mention that again later because it'll help you with your organization. I'm going to click back to all my photos, and I'm going to create another folder. And I'm going to call this Everything Else. You can, again, call it what you like, personal or whatever makes sense to you, but I'm just going to say everything that's not for photo class is going to go in here. Okay, now I'm going to click back. Notice everything else went up to the top. Photo 29 is next to that. I'm going to leave it that way for now, but I am going to show you a way when you get into Photo 29 to change the titles of your folders so that they'll stay in order. So within Photo 29, I want a folder for every assignment. I might make more, but for right now, we're going to do assignments. And the first assignment is called 20 Photos. The next assignment is called, go back to Photo 29, 3 Ways. And the next assignment after that, I believe, is Abstraction. Now, you might notice a little problem here, and that is that these are going alphabetically, which means that the first assignment is down at the bottom. I don't know about you, but I really like things to go in order. So the way we get around this is by going back into the titles. You just click on it again, and I'm going to give each of these a number. This is going to be 1. This is going to be 2. This will be 3, and so on. As I make other assignment folders, I just keep them numbered. You can do this alphabetically as well. You could do it with the alphabet, or you can do it with numbers. I'm going to click into 20 photos because this is where we're going to put all of the files from my SD card. Now, they may not all belong here, but it's easier for me to just throw them all into one file and sort them out from there than to try to cherry pick through these. So I'm going to go ahead, and there's a couple ways you can select them all. You can pick the first one, scroll down, hold the Shift key, and click the last one, and you see they're all selected. They're all highlighted in blue. The other way you can do this is to select any one of them, then do Command A, and that also selects them. Now, what I want to do, let me just move this over so we can move this over and have them both visible, is I want to just go back. They're all selected. Just click once anywhere and hold. Move this over again. Click them anywhere and hold. There we go. And drag them over. You want to drag them into this blank space. That's the 20 photos folder. And notice how it highlights in blue. Let go. And now they're all going to copy into that space. You'll have a progress bar up here, and they will also be, you can see them loading in there. At this point, we don't really need all these windows open, but I'm going to go ahead and let these load. It's going to take a couple minutes and come back to you in the next video and show you how to use Bridge to do some more organization.